Hey, Jacob. Hey, Jacob, can you hear me? Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you. There we go.
All right, how are you? Welcome to Automate All the Things for the second time.
Yeah, really excited to be back. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of technical issues. I think we're going to have a few technical issues throughout. So in the chat, let me know if this is your first time here. Usually we're really good at this, but today is a difficult day, but we're going to work through it. So Jacob, for folks who are maybe not so familiar with Autocode, maybe we start there. Give a quick introduction into yourself and into Autocode.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jacob. I'm the co-founder of Autocode. We're a Node.js-based platform for building everything from Discord bots to others for webhooks. We're great for integrating multiple APIs together. And yeah, Aron will explain a bit more about what we're doing.
Awesome.
On the stream.
Yeah. So last time you were on, we built a Slack bot, but Slack is kind of old school, right? So now everyone's onto Discord. So today we are gonna build a kind of help bot in Discord, right? So similar to what we did in Slack, but really gonna do it in Discord. Jacob's audio is a little low. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. It's been a technical challenge this morning. Let's try that again. Jacob, can you speak?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Is this better, folks?
How's that?
Let me know. So we'll see if that's a little better. So sorry for the technical issues. My computer just completely crashed on me this morning, but I will be doing most of the talking, and that's okay. Much better. Awesome. I thank you all for your patience. Really, running a stream is every week a new challenge, kind of like coding, it feels like sometimes. So, what my understanding of Autocode is that like Autocode just helps you abstract all the hard, annoying parts of writing code just so you can really write the kind of important part. In this case, we're actually just going to write a Discord bot in under 45 minutes. Can you maybe just introduce what is your philosophy around Autocode before we jump into the actual build here?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, you summed it up pretty well there. Specifically for Discord, we handle all the kind of authentication, event routing. So in the bot we'll eventually set up 2 slash commands. And we actually have a nice interface for that. Normally you have to register them through like Discord's API. So we basically simplify that whole process and allow you to just really focus on the code and the application logic, which is really what matters.
Awesome. So
and we also, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, we'll get into it more as we go.
Yeah. No, I think, it's interesting because I remember when you came on, I remember telling like, there's no way we build a Slack bot in 45 minutes. And we did. It took us maybe 55 minutes, but that's okay. Right. And so what always brings me to Autocode is this, like you standardize the API so I can query any type of API in a standard way. And also kind of abstract the connecting to different applications, right? So you have a direct connection to Airtable. So I don't need to kind of create all of that functionality. So today what we're going to do is actually you have a UI that's specific to Discord to build a Discord bot. And then we're going to jump into that UI we're going to build. It's going to create some code for us that then is going to answer questions. So you can answer questions in that Discord. And then we're going to actually add a backend to it where we can create the questions in Airtable so we can store those answers and add to them easily. So that's going to be our plan. And for folks, it feels like we have a lot of new folks. So just quickly, Automate All the Things is a weekly stream about how to work smarter, not harder, using no-code tools. Today is definitely going to be more on the code side than we're used to. But with that, I'm kind of really excited to dive in here. So I'm going to go ahead and go like that. I need to update the browser. There we go. All right. So let me share my screen with you. And we should be off to go. So everyone should see the kind of Autocode Discord / command. And Jacob, tell me, this is like a good place to start. Talk a little bit about what this is. This is not where we're going to be a little later. Talk to me about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, absolutely. So at a high level, what we're going to be building, as you mentioned, is a kind of like server question answer bot. It's going to have 2 commands. one called help, which is going to list all the questions that our bot can respond to.
Okay.
And then one that's called ask, which lets you ask a question.
Okay. So how about...
So it can be like a way to kind of...
How about we start with showing off how it works? How about that? I think we have a server here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so you said we can do question or ask or question, right? So
it'll be /help to see a list of the questions we can ask.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the final product essentially.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay,
so
cool.
We'll say I can ask, how do I build a Discord bot? How do I build a / command? What is this? Is there anything else I can watch?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then you can run /ask, and it'll actually set up a option here for you, and you can just click that. Oh no, you just click the option in.
Oh, okay.
It won't let you get it. There you go. Cool.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
So you ask a question, it gives you an answer with some nice, you can add links, and it's nicely formatted and embed.
Awesome. So this is what we're going to be building in the next 45 minutes. I'd love to know in the chat, what are some of your kind of dream Discord bots? Like if you had all the superpowers, let me know, and Jacob's going to kind of like note those down and build that functionality. So today our goal is going to be very simple, but let me know in the chat, what is your kind of, I know Ethan's going to have some ideas around, dream Discord bots. But with that, okay, so our goal for today is going to be to build this. So first, Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, we're just going to build this functionality like with the questions in Discord, in your Autocode kind of UI. But then with enough motivation and time, we're actually going to have a kind of Airtable base where we can collect all the questions and answers to make this a little more dynamic, right?
That's correct, yeah. We're just going to start simple and kind of move up.
We got some suggestions.
Make sure that's kind of my philosophy and kind of like what we try to encourage other people to do. Just get the basics down and then move up.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely some like a philosophy we share at Automate All the Things is let's do the simple stuff first and then try to get fancy.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to that whole idea of like the / command builder. So a lot of another option for doing and what a lot of people have been using in the past is something called prefix commands.
Okay.
Which are basically like you type maybe like exclamation point ask instead of /ask.
Okay.
Just / commands are really Discord's newest way. They just came out of beta of creating these interactions with like people in your guild and like that people can use. Unfortunately, though, Discord only has no UI for it built in.
Okay.
You can only do it through APIs. So what we've done at Autocode is kind of build this custom builder where you can essentially really easily create and manage these commands.
Got it. Okay, so if I understand correctly, this is going to generate like the bot, but also the code in Autocode that lets me create these / commands. So this is a UI on top of Discord's, functionality that lets you API that lets you generate the code that's needed to create that bot we just saw.
Yeah, that's correct. Because while / commands, let you do cool things like specify arguments like you had there, like so you could basically force the user to put a question in when they ask, when they run the ask command. They also require one extra step, which is registering them with Discord. So a little bit more setup in return for more power.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So some suggestions in the chat. So some folks want to back up servers. Some folks just want to mute people. I think that probably has like functionality, I hope, in Discord native that you can mute folks. But if you can create a bot that auto mutes, there's a suggestion of a bot that writes code to create other bots, which I think is kind of like Autocode, right? In a sense, you are a tool that runs code that runs bots, right? So you're automating that part of it. So I think that's already built.
We have to go one level deeper.
Awesome. Okay, so let's build this out. So I'm gonna like kind of start doing this. You can kind of give me tips. So our goal here for today is to build this functionality. So when I write /help, it should return, a list of possible questions that person could ask. So, I'm going to follow your UI here, and this is good training, if you want some user testing. So I already connected my kind of Discord setup here, right?
Yeah, for new folks, there's a little bit of a process where you create your bot in Discord and then link it to Autocode. But Aaron's already gone through that, so he's reusing an old existing link.
Awesome. Yeah, I did that before just so we're not spending a bunch of time, configuring, and then I have to change all my secret keys there. So my first command is help, right? Oh, it's cool. You kind of give folks what it's going to look like. Okay, that's really cool.
Exactly.
Okay. So let me actually just go back to the bot and we can copy paste. So this is going to be help. And I imagine, see a list of questions that I can answer. So this is that description that's going to pop up right at the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. And then options.
So we'll actually, the help command, the options that you see here are essentially like arguments for your command.
Okay.
The help command doesn't take any, so we can just keep it really simple and just close that. Yep, that's fine. Should be fine anyway. Let's see.
Okay.
All right, cool. So slash command is updated in the top. Now you can just click create handler. Well, actually, let's go back to your guild.
Right. My
server.
Yeah, my server right
what
here.
Aaron's done is he's added a slash command called help to his bot, not mine.
Okay.
So he's going to go to his guild or server and try typing slash help.
Okay.
Cool. And he sees it right there.
Awesome. That was quick. Thank you for coming to the stream. This was a lot of fun. No, I'm joking. Okay. So we want to have the response to this be those questions kind of hard-coded that we can answer, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So let me go ahead and add a handler, which is the response,
That's
right? Okay.
Cool. So now you're taken to the Autocode editor. It'll automatically set up the event. So do you see that little bar on the top? Discord command will trigger this endpoint.
Okay, that's saying help is going to go ahead and trigger this endpoint when we start running that custom code.
If you click it, you can see that the specific command is going to be help there. So only the help command will
Got it.
run this code. Yeah, just click it for the...
Where do you see this? This right here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Cool. So it's all laid out for you, set up. Your bot's already linked as well. If you see that linked resources, one linked in the bottom left.
Yeah, so it's saying it's connected to my Automate All the Things guild. I've got... okay, awesome.
Cool. So actually all you need to do right now is just hit save.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
But don't I want to provide a response?
You can see there's already some code set up there. So it's going to say, yep, Discord bot's fine.
Okay.
Await lib, Discord channels,
Yeah, right
messages
here.
create.
Okay.
And that just like sends an API. It's a request to Discord that creates and sends a message. And we can try it now actually from your guild. It's going to say something like at Aron core, but just triggered the /help command.
Okay, got it. Okay, so this is right here. This is what's saying. So I know there's folks in the chat talking about lag. This was a huge technical issue this morning, so we're just gonna have to live with the lag. Apologies for that.
Yeah, if my voice sounds a little bit choppy, there's a little bit of an echo, and I'm trying to talk around that in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should actually work if you go. Now that you saved it, it's immediately live. It should be working in your guild immediately.
Okay, cool. So if I go right here and then run /help, okay, just triggered their help command. So we can actually just hard code that response right here, which what we wanted from before. So if I go and try and just copy your kind of response here, I can just take this, happy to help, like that. Right, so that's a response. This is the try asking one more with help. So I'm just going to copy paste this.
Yep.
And then let's kind of give some space here, like that. And I don't know if this is going to kind of format the text properly. Or just going to format it on one line.
Yeah, no, it should be fine actually. But let's give it a try.
Man,
just hit save.
1 second here. Some crazy stuff. There we go. Okay, let's try that. Save. Man, technical issues on the stream today. Apologies, folks.
We're making it work.
We're making it work. Okay, so just save that. This is kind of cool because I can like test this live in my... Okay, let's try
Correct.
It. Oh, boom. Okay.
Cool. So it was, just that easy to get a simple response up.
No, this is yours. That's not mine.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, well.
Okay, let's try that again.
Let's try from here then.
Okay, help. Boom. Okay, cool.
Well, also that simple.
Also pretty simple, right? Okay, there's some, I'm sure there's gonna be some questions around there was some bolding here. So how would I add some bolding in the kind of query here so that it shows up bold in my guild?
Absolutely, yes. So Discord uses Markdown. If you're not familiar with Markdown, it's kind of like actually, that's a good way to explain it. It's sort of like a way to format and like style text.
Yeah.
You have like various characters that do certain things. So for bolding, we're going to do, and yeah, you can actually look at it from Discord. It's going to be two asterisks and then test.
Okay, so if I actually put that in the string, in the code right here like this, Discord is going to kind of take that markdown and put it as bold. So that's one example. So let's save that. Let's try that. Help.
Right.
And now we should see that ask as bold. So I think what I most like about this so far is how quickly it actually...
saving, yeah.
Oh, did I run it while it was saving?
You had a mid-save, yeah.
Okay. I was just going to compliment you on how quickly I can test. Okay, there we go. So that's actually really cool in the sense of I can write, like, this is almost like a real-time environment. I'm writing the code, I save it, and I can test it out in my guild real time, which is really, really fun. So that was event handler, I think, number 1, right? Remember that the second thing we want to do, if I go back to your server, is that when I ask a specific question, right, I get a response.
That's right.
Right. So
I think it'd be you should copy the. Well, actually, the way I have it set up on my server, it'll do a little bit of fancy keyword matching, but I think for starters, we can just make it match for the whole question.
Yeah, I think that's good. So what we want now is when I write ask, it should tell me that one of the parameters is the question, and then I can input that question, right? So we have like an input, and then let's say we're just going to have that input that question. So like this, like that. And then if we do ask that question, it should check what the response is. So we're going to hard code both the questions and the responses in that kind of UI again. Is that right?
Yeah, just to start.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So thanks for folks putting other options in the chat other than just bold, right? So you can quote, it seems channel ID. Awesome. So appreciate that. I think we have a Discord developer in the chat. So that's awesome.
Developers Hub mentioned some things about channel ID and role ID and user ID.
Mm-hmm.
Those will actually turn into mentions.
Okay.
In the text if you send it.
Got it.
And yeah, additionally, the slash command builder has an option for like auto-completing roles and users and things like that in so like, you have question as a prompted option for this ask command, but you could have like you could have it ask for like a specific user and like only accept users. So if you want to say like, I don't know, /ban Aron, not that I'd want to do that. You could have it basically you'd be able to select him out of like a list, and Discord would actually be intelligent enough to autocomplete that.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, that's maybe more advanced. So let's keep it simpler for now.
Yeah, I think we can keep some. Let me know in the chat like what more advanced stuff you're curious about. And obviously, I'm pretty sure most of the folks here are already in the Autocode Discord. But if you can drop a link to that. So if there are any kind of more advanced questions. So from here, what we want to do is the ask part, right? So this is the second kind of step here, which is if someone has a specific question in that dropdown that they want to ask, we want to give them an answer. And then from there, we're actually going to remove the hard-coded parts of this and move it into Airtable to have a dynamic Q&A place. So let's go ahead and I'm going to try to do this. So we're going to add a new command.
Okay.
Boom, which is ask. Right, what was that description? What did you have as a description? Let me just go /ask.
I think I might just have it as
question or part of a question. So, What is your question? Okay, there we go. And then I have one of the parameters is a question, right?
Yeah. So for options, string is fine because string is just like text essentially, and we're just gonna be passing a text question directly. And then options require two other things. Yeah, like a name. So in this case, we can do question, and it's gonna tell you Discord only allows lowercase names, unfortunately. And then simple description. So again, it can be anything.
Okay, there we go. So this is essentially just saying kind of similar to what we had before, right? And then there we go. I can save that, save all. Or do I need to
Yep,
create the
it's
handler? Okay.
Cool. So if you hit create handler again, right now it'll create it in a new project.
Okay.
I think it might be simpler just because especially because we're going to be working in Airtable later. If we kind of walk through a flow where we show like how we add another handler to a project.
Okay,
so,
yeah, let's do it.
We've done the registering part.
Okay.
Which by saving there. So if we go back to your project now.
Okay. This one right here?
Well, actually,
no, right here.
Yeah, so we've registered.
We lost you there for a sec. Hey Jacob, you're on mute. There we go. We can hear you now. Sorry about that. You lagged out for a second.
Anyway, great. So let's hit that plus button in the top.
Yeah, new endpoint.
And we can hit, new endpoint.
Okay, awesome.
So it's going to default to just triggering from just like HTTPS, which is basically like we give every endpoint that you create on Autocode like a URL that you can ping to trigger it. But we're going to change this to Discord command. Yep, you got the bones of it here. So it's going to be command.
Command. Okay, so we're kind of recreating what we did in the UI, but in the actual kind of Autocode editor here.
Yeah, and then this one's going to be called ask. Cool.
Okay, cool.
All right, awesome. So there's some boilerplate code here, basically like just kind of like examples, but we can delete all this.
Okay.
Leave the console lib, actually. We'll still need that.
Yeah.
All right, and then, for starters, we can just type await lib and just like make sure we can get a simple message returned from this command. And we have this nice API autocomplete you can use to kind of give you a sense of like what API calls you can make.
Okay, so here I'm going to Discord, send a message.
Yep. We're just testing now. Just make sure we set everything up okay.
Whoa. Okay, walk me through. So we're starting from scratch to do the same thing we would do in the UI. There's quite a bit of options we need to fill out here.
Okay. You cut out for a second, but I'm back.
Yeah. So help me set this up.
Yeah. So the important things here are the channel ID.
Okay.
Must be provided if the name's not provided. So we actually provide autocomplete here as well. So if you type $, curly bracket.
Right.
Yep. And you can scroll down and we'll actually autocomplete some things from the incoming event as well.
Okay.
So you want channel ID here because we're going to return we're going to send a message back to the channel.
Right.
That the command came from.
Right.
Yeah. And for content, let's just put something, I don't know, like testing, making sure it works. Make sure we set everything up okay.
I don't need this is going to know that it's a string, right? So I don't need those right there.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Oh, we see the code.
That's actually it.
Okay, great.
Sorry?
I always forget that you guys kind of autocomplete the code here, so I can see that it's actually creating a string just because of these brackets right here.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, now let's save that.
How does this know what it should because I put the word ask. So this is
you put the word ask.
But we're not talking about parameters here. We're just saying if I put /ask, it's going to respond with testing, make sure it works.
Yeah, just to make sure everything's registered correctly and we didn't make any mistakes.
Okay, cool. Let's go into Autocode. So here we're saying, let's go into my server /ask. And
you can just put anything. It'll be ignored right now.
Oh, right. Okay.
You need to put something, but yeah, because it'll. Okay,
testing to make sure it works. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so we've registered the command correctly. We saw that it was asking for an option, so that's all good.
Okay, great.
And now we can move into the hard coding questions and answer part.
Okay, so here we want to go ahead and do two things, if I understand, is that it's going to take question as an input and then search on an array of questions and then see if there's a response and then return the response.
Yes.
Okay. So I am a code noob, as you know. You've been on the stream before. So walk me through this.
Absolutely. So one really convenient way to see kind of like how the option value gets passed in, so like what you put in for question,
Okay.
is to look at the sample payload.
Okay.
So if you hit edit sample payload at the top,
Okay, there we go. Yeah, totally.
it's going to be like kind of a fake Discord event.
Okay.
Right. So we can see that, scroll a bit. Yeah, there's like stuff about the user, who triggered it, the channel, the guild it came from. And then at the very top, I think you should see something about, there's an options field in data.
Options field, and there we go. Options.
Data options.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's basically where the value of like the question that we enter from Discord is going to be. So why don't we try to like see if we can extract that?
Okay.
So let's close this.
So run an actual question and see what the sample payload is.
Well, yeah, we can log it too. But I was thinking, we know that the value is going to be let's set a variable is what I mean.
Okay.
And like see if we can basically get the value of the option.
Okay.
And maybe send it back in a message.
Okay.
Seems like a
Okay, right.
simpler way
Okay.
to, get
So
started.
how do I edit the sample payload directly? How do I know what this array should look like?
You can log it for now. We're working on a feature that's going to make this much easier.
Okay. So how do I
This
log
will be
it?
actually out in the next few days. The sample payload here is just to essentially get a sense of what the payload looks like. When we want to actually deal with the payload from Discord, we'll go back to the actual code.
Okay. So you want me to go into Discord?
No, your code editor there. Yeah, you just close that window.
This one?
Sorry, I was saying you should just close the sample payload window.
Okay. So
Okay, so that's
right,
here.
actually here. Okay.
Yes.
So run it.
Let's go to line 4,
Yeah.
and let's just see what's in the payload object. Or sorry, the options part. So let's just do like let option value or let option equal. You can start typing context.params. That's where all of the event stuff comes in,
Right.
and it'll start auto-completing things. And we're gonna look for data, because remember that's where the options thing was. Yep.
Right. And then options.
Options.
And can we just console log that?
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking of just putting that directly in the content of the message response.
Oh, okay, right.
But we
Okay,
can
right.
log it as well.
No, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So we're saying return, that's a little curly bracket, so return option value. Am I writing
Yeah,
that right? No, there's a V.
It's got to be a capital there, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So this is going to
And,
return
so that's going to be the entire array.
Okay, got
And
it.
I think that probably won't really, Discord won't
All right, we want...
turn that into a string very well. So yeah, we want option 0.
Okay.
And
got it.
maybe I can give you a hint. It's going to be dot value. Yeah,
Okay, folks want a larger screen. Does that help?
perfect.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Thanks for the feedback, folks. You should
It's the
see
option value 0 dot value.
0 dot value. Okay, right. Because this
Yeah.
is just the first object in the array, dot value. Okay.
Yeah, this is I'm using a little bit of my own knowledge here so we can skip the console.log step. But,
Okay, so if we save that, if we
save,
go
yep.
back to Discord and then do
Yeah,
ask,
just give a minute to make sure it finished saved.
this is a test.
Saving.
Okay, give it a sec. Seems like it's
Oh,
done.
no, that's right. Cool.
Cool. Okay, this is the test. It should respond with this is a test. Okay, cool.
Excellent.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we know that option, that is right now an option 0 value is the question that the user is asking.
That's right, yeah. And because we only have one, so we created one option with our ask command here.
Right.
And Discord basically returns like the value of each one in like a list. So
Right.
because we only have one value, we only need the first one, and that's going to be how we extract it.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So now we want to, maybe I'm speaking as a noob here, and correct me if I'm wrong. What we want to do is have an array of questions answered, right? So the first, or object, right? An array of objects where there's the question and then the answer. And then we want to search option 0 dot value in that array to find which element, which question the user is asking. If we do find it, return the answer. If not, return like, hey, that didn't work.
Exactly.
Okay. I can say that. I have no idea how to do that. So talk me through
No worries.
how do we create first that object of question answer, right? And then how do we actually search that array for the question that's being asked?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to use another variable. You can do like let available questions or something.
Right.
And then make it, like you said, an array.
Right.
And let's just start with one question answer pair. Yeah. So we'll make it an object, like you said as well.
Right.
Those who, that don't know, objects let you kind of like define multiple fields, and we're going to have one be the question.
So imagine bracket. Oh,
yeah.
So we're saying the first kind of question. Am I doing this right? Question 2 dot like that, and then.
Yeah, you don't need the quotes around the key, but they're okay if you have them as well.
Okay.
So that's fine. And then you need to, just put a string, like the text of the question that you want to answer here.
Okay, so the question would be, let's try to get one from your, and then we'll give a proper answer here. Whoops. Let me go into here. And then in your Discord right here, you had, how do I build a Discord bot? That's going to be question number 1, right?
Cool. Let's give it an answer too. So, you got the comma there. That's how you separate fields in an object. And let's just, put something simple here for now. You go to AATT.io and watch the stream.
No. I think the right answer is, talk to Jacob at Autocode. So someone in the chat, I do want to highlight this. I don't know who, someone in the chat is talking about the fact that when you write code in like every code editor, you start a new line and it's like errors everywhere because you haven't stopped writing. I think it's one of the most stressful things as a person who doesn't necessarily write code every day is I always feel like I'm making 100 mistakes. So again, maybe you fix it, maybe you don't, but definitely some feedback that I personally really feel. So the answer is talk to Jacob at Autocode, right? So what I want is, that's our array. That's the first kind of question answer pair. So then what we want is, I imagine we're going to take option value, search this object, and check for each question, right? For each
does
element,
something match?
Does that match the question that's being asked? If it does, grab this response. If it doesn't, it goes loops through the array, it doesn't find anything, just return, trash, whatever. So does that make sense? And then we're gonna output the response of that here.
That's right.
Okay. So that's like another function. We need to loop over the array. Yeah.
So JavaScript actually has a really nice built-in method called .find.
Oh, right. Okay.
So let's do set another variable here.
Right. Let answer received. I'm bad at naming variables, so let answered received equal available question is coming back to me. Dot.
Yep.
So I want to find. Is that no? It's not letting me. Dot find.
Yeah. It's that's fine. And then we'll put a function there. So you can put another parentheses. I think that should be it's like the parentheses arrow function.
Parentheses arrow function.
Arrow function, or like arrow.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we want to say put in answer.
Like you're. Yeah.
This thing. Can you talk to folks about what this is?
It's a very like JavaScript specific way of declaring a function, essentially.
Okay.
So what we're saying here is for each item in the available questions array.
Right.
We want to run this function against every item in that array.
Right.
And if we return true from this function, it's going to match. We know that's the one we want. It lets us pull an item out of the array that matches a condition that we want.
Okay. And our condition is going to be, does it equal...
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Does answer dot question... No, it doesn't make any sense, is it?
Yeah.
So this should be question. This should be actually question.
Yeah.
So question.
And also that little skinny hyphen needs to be an equal sign. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Cool. There we go.
So these are like available question. Feels like makes so. These are all of the potential Q&A. So we're going to check each one of those, whether available question.
I think you've misspelled. I would change that first available questions variable to available questions, just to avoid confusion.
Right. You're totally right. So let's change this. We need to change this in that case. Right.
And then, change. You have a misspelling there.
Really?
Dropped an L.
Oh, right. Damn.
It's available.
Right. Shit. That makes
there
sense.
we go.
Okay, good.
Cool. So now we want to return, or look for rather, a question from the array.
Right.
With a question that matches the incoming option value.
Okay, so we're going to say so it's going to go through each one of these, right? And so we want available question dot question. So go look into this and check whether the response of that, so this right here, right? So available question is equal to our option value.
Yep.
That's right. Okay, and this is double equal in JavaScript, right?
We usually like triples.
Triple equal. Damn.
Yeah. Always better to use triple.
Gotta use triple. So let me just do this.
And then you can remove the $.
Just so folks, I know this is like terrible formatting, and I apologize. I just want you guys to like kind of see it, right? So.
Yeah, no worries. So this will actually, if you remove the brackets, this will work.
Right.
It's a little bit, that one too, and then one at the end.
Okay.
If you don't add any, so when you declare a function in JavaScript, I don't know if you have an example on screen. Yeah, we don't think we do, but you definitely want to you generally want to rather put like a curly bracket in front of the arrow. And that kind of like means that everything inside those brackets will be part of the function that's getting run.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
okay.
so.
There we go. So let's see this.
Just to make it a little bit simpler there. And then you want to put a return in front of that available question bit.
Man, my formatting is awful. This is just awful formatting. I apologize. So return that. Yeah, right. Okay. So return all questions where it's equal to the value. So should we console log this to see what it works? To see whether it works? Or we should actually just return answer received here.
Yeah. So answer received will it'll actually be like the full question. So it'll be like the question from the available questions array.
Right. So it's going to return the question instead of the answer.
Yeah, it'll be like answer received dot answer.
Okay. There. Okay. So in this case, dot answer like that is going to return the answer. Can I just console log this just to see when it runs for folks? So answer received, just so they see the object, so they understand why we put dot answer.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Let's run it from Discord though, because to run it from the editor requires a little bit more setup. And
we would need to edit the sample payload.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's run it, but we'll still see the console log. So what we expect here.
That's right.
Okay. So there's some questions in the chat around versioning and the 006. So I'll let you take those, Jacob, but let's run this here. So here we're saying...
absolutely. I'll answer that in a moment.
If I run from Discord, right, how do I run... One second, I need to disconnect. Oh, one second here, folks. There we go. Okay. So if I run from Discord, help, or ask.
You're in my guild, Aaron.
Shit.
So you'll have to go to yours, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Ask, how do I build a Discord bot? Our expectation is that the response here, if we go into is talk to Jacob at Autocode.
That's right.
Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, boom.
There we go.
Awesome. Okay, and if we come here, we should see the log. Can we see the view logs? Can we see that console log?
That's right. Yeah, so those view logs are going to be, and console.log, by the way, it's a way of like seeing kind of what's happening in your code as it's running.
Right. Okay.
So we logged a question that matched this, like the option that we passed in.
Okay.
And we can see that it found, yes, a available question that could answer in that array. And we just took that and took the answer field out of that object.
Okay, cool. So let me go back to here. Okay, so I just want to, there's some folks who are a little lost here. I'm hearing it took so wait, where am I here? Events.
Yeah, I think you just close that window. You have it open the other one.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
But, yeah,
right here. Okay.
All good.
So I just want to walk through what we just did for folks who are kind of like, okay, how did that work? So the first thing we did help. We built a help command right here, right? Which just lists all of the questions that can be asked, right? So if I go into command.js, right? These are hard-coded all of the questions that could be asked, right? So we created the handler, we went into the code, we adapted all of the questions that could be asked. And then we create another handler, which is essentially if someone asks, does /ask, pull in the question, the parameter, right? So this was this right here, right? And then we have an array of possible questions and answers, right? So it checks in that array what question was asked, whether we have a match, right? Puts it into answer received and returns that response. Now, I know this is a little complicated, so what I recommend to folks is like take, there's a link in the chat around, I think you built this, and you can take this step by step and really understand and use this console.log to understand where kind of like what is happening. So you can always console log any variable, any of these lets to understand what is happening. So from here, I'm going to let it in the chat. Do we prefer doing error handling? Or do we want to kind of work in the next 10, 15 minutes? Do you think that's enough time, Jacob, to connect to Airtable? So let me know in the chat if you could prefer talking about errors. So let's say someone asks a question that you don't have an answer to. Or do we want to kind of skip errors and talk directly about how to connecting to Airtable? While folks are letting me know in the chat, let me know, Jacob, there were some questions around versioning. Anything folks should be aware of at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So regarding versioning, every time, so if we need to make changes, let's say Discord makes a new version of their API or adds a parameter that they like are newly supporting, we can push a new version of the API and like, you see it's 0.06, we could create 0.0.7. But we'll keep up the old version. So we'll keep 0.0.6 running. And that makes sure that if you're using the old version of the API, it'll continue working.
Okay.
So it basically allows us to continue to make changes and improve things while making sure that if you're using an old version, your code won't break. Guaranteed.
Okay, cool. What do you think, Jacob? Should we, do you think 10 minutes is enough to connect Airtable?
Might be tricky.
Might be tricky?
I think we might have to gloss over a few things and move quickly.
Okay.
Maybe we could start maybe with just the help part, and then I have a completed version of the project actually that we could paste with the maybe ask part of it. Okay,
let's do that. I think that makes sense.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so essentially we're gonna the ask one is right here.
Yeah, so let's do very quickly the help one.
Help one right here. Sorry, this is the help one. Yeah. So this part.
So what we're going to be doing is instead of hard coding this like happy to help, here are the questions I know how to answer.
Yeah.
We're going to fetch that data from Airtable, and we're going to be able to essentially like define them from Airtable, like add new questions, update answers, so that way we can have like a better way to update than just like going back to the code.
Yeah.
So let's open airtable.com. For those of you who don't know, Airtable is, maybe Aron can explain it better than me.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So Airtable will essentially be kind of our backend for this. So Airtable at its core is a relational database where you can, every table, every base, which is like kind of short for database, has an API that you can connect to. So we already have this Discord help bot questions, right? Which has all of the questions that and answers. So it's simply just a place where we can go and ask a question and retrieve the answer. And Autocode has like a direct connection with it, right? So we can easily go ahead and say, okay, go get all of the questions in the questions table. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do.
That's right.
Okay. Oops. Cool.
All right. So similar to the way we did the autocomplete with Discord, if you remember, we have something similar for Airtable. So let's say define another variable called query results. And if you remember the await lib.
Yes, await lib dot Airtable dot. I want to. Which one would it be? Filter records.
This should be one called like select. Yeah, select records from a base. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, it's gonna pull up. Okay, so I need to base ID.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can actually hit that link button and choose the base that you just had open in the other window.
Okay, link.
So this is actually this is cool. It's similar to like how you link your Discord bot. We're going to link and associate a Airtable base to this project.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So it's linked. It's going to fill out some information. You can see the base IDs there now.
Awesome. Oh, okay. Then it's okay. Boom. Questions.
Yeah, and there's already the table. So bases contain tables.
Right.
And the table's name is question.
Okay, got it.
And actually, because we want to get all the questions
we don't need to
that we can answer,
we don't need to
we don't need to actually filter on anything.
Okay, cool.
I think that should be good.
So this is going to return query results, which is, can I see what the sample response could be?
Yeah, we can use a log statement actually. That'd be a great time to use that.
Yeah, so just console.log, and we could run it, and then we would run query results.
Yep.
Let's do like that, right?
Sure.
Let's save that. And we could just run this. We don't need to go into, it's going to go in query regardless.
Yeah, it'll complain because we haven't set the sample payload up, but we will see a log here because we're doing the Airtable call first. So if you go to logs, on the bottom, well, there too, but there's a toggle.
There's a toggle?
Yeah, this is fine. It'll show up there.
Okay. Okay, cool. Oh, it's not expanding.
So these yeah, scroll a bit.
Okay, so it's got all the questions, right? So it's got question, ID, fields. Okay, so we want to return each field, fields dot question, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And they're all in another parameter called rows.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which you may have noticed in the logs too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So if we go back here to logs, where do you see rows?
Scroll a bit more.
Oh, rows. Okay, so it's an array in each record. So okay, dot table, dot questions, dot rows, dot field, dot question. That's gonna be, or it's gonna be an array of records. Okay, got it.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to here. And now what we want is to create something similar to this, but that pulls each question from Airtable. So go ahead and pull the question from row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Now I imagine that JavaScript has a really cool functionality that lets me cycle through each item in an array.
Yeah, there's something called .map.
Okay.
Which will essentially let us build this message really nicely.
Okay, so let's call this all questions.
Sure.
Equal, and we're going to use this query results dot rows, right?
Yep.
Dot map.
Yep.
Okay. We want.
So similar to find, it takes a function that will run for every.
Let's say record, right? That makes sense. And like for me, so it's looping every rows of records, right? Go take every record, and then map.
Curly bracket.
Right. So we want to create an object that takes question, and then input record dot questions.
Well,
no.
What I was thinking was actually we could just generate the message that we're going to send back to Discord right here.
Oh, okay. Okay, how would we do that?
So we'll use this maybe as like, maybe instead of all questions, we could do like all questions message or
like response
content or something.
Yeah, let's just do a response.
Sure. So the way the .map works, anything that this for each item in the array, it'll run this function that you define with record, arrow, like curly brackets.
Right.
And anything we return here will be added to a new array. And then we can use what's called a join function. So it's going to be .join to combine all the items in the new array into like a string that we can send back to Discord.
Okay, I've never done this, so you're going to have to walk me through it.
No worries. It's a little bit of explanation there, but it's quite simple. Just do return.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
Record. And remember, we have that fields object, which is going to be like the values of the that the record contains. Dot question.
Right. Okay.
And it's case sensitive, actually. I think we had the capital Q in the.
Oh, in the base. Okay, let me check.
Yeah, in the base. That's right. Because we have.
Dot question. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
capital Q there.
Okay.
Awesome, and that's it. So, and then actually, one more thing. At the. Let's do that last. So for now, for content in the response from Discord.
So that's it? This is it? This is just going to return?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Well, it'll return an array of like questions, just the question fields for each record.
Oh, okay, so it's going to have an array of just these 4 records
so
put together.
like how to build a Discord bot, how to build a / command, what else can I do, etc.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So
the last step. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
There's a lot of questions in the chat. So join the Jacob Autocode's Discord to questions around permissioning. We're trying to do an overview, so I don't think we'll have time to answer all those questions.
Permissioning gets a little more complicated. I'm sorry, I think I...
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It happens. We know the feeling. So let's go.
Yeah,
so I can console.log here response.
Sure.
Right? Okay. Let's save that. And we could run it. We could run it, and we should see it's going to error out because there's no thing in Discord, but it should run before.
Yeah, do you see that logs toggle right there at the bottom?
Logs toggle. No, I don't. Oh, right here.
Yeah, right there. You can actually see like kind of shortened view of what you see in the other.
Oh, great. Okay, we see it right here.
Yeah, so
there's an array.
A list of questions.
Okay, great.
As an array.
Yeah, right here. Sorry, this is going to be a little small for folks on the chat, but okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we want we just want to join all of that. So let me just grab my mouse here. There we go. We want to join all of that right here. Here. So we want to create another variable, I imagine, that is like response string.
Sure.
Equal to response.join.
Yep, and then the way .join works.
Right.
It takes a parameter that you like essentially use to. We're creating a string out of all the items in the array, so it's combining them.
Oh, you need a delimiter. What do you actually?
Yeah,
okay, delimiter. Okay, so we want /n, something like that. Am I crazy?
That's gonna be a new line, which I think will make it a good readable format.
Okay, so the parameter is just the delimiter. So if it would have been a dash, it would have just put a dash in front of it. And we want to be...
And if you don't provide one, it would just smush them all together, which would not be very readable.
Okay, so let's run that again. So let's see the logs here.
We're logging response still.
Shit.
So you won't see the actual join result. But yeah.
Okay, save that. Let's run. So Jorge, yes, this is recorded. You can come back to this URL. You can watch it all back. And you can watch right when the stream ends. You can watch from the beginning. So we have, is there anything I can help you with? It's actually putting /n as a string. So
I think Discord will be smart enough to figure it out though.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Even if our logs there are.
Okay. So I want here to kind of join. I want to say, take this, and then here, how do I say replace all of this? Oh, with the little shit. This thing. Whoa, I'm moving too quickly here. I want to do that little dash curly bracket thing. No, $sign. $sign.
That's right.
There we go. I want response string. Like that.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it.
Okay, let's save that. Man, if this works, I'll be the first to surprise. I'll be the most surprised person.
I think it will. I think we got it.
Okay, so we want to say /question. I'm in my Discord, right? /help.
/help, actually. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, I guess Discord wasn't smart enough.
Okay. So I imagine it's...
sorry. Aaron, use a forwards. I think maybe it's wrong /. Yeah.
Like that?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, let's save that.
So
we were so close.
We were so close.
Okay. So /help. Boom.
Boom.
Okay. And so now this returns. So I imagine the same thing, if we go here into like the find, you would just replace, you would do kind of the same thing, but based on the response, instead of looking in the questions that exist, which are these right here, you would find the array in Airtable, right? So you would do a get, just like we did, you would get the answers, you would get the question, and then instead of matching on, actually you would just change this with what we just did, right?
Pretty much, yeah. We're going to use the same, or we could use the same select method, but just give it some filtering parameters. Yeah.
Okay. We're 7 minutes past our normal time. So I will let, this as homework. So if folks are interested in Autocode, Jacob, what is the best way to keep in touch with you?
Yeah, actually, we have got a really active Discord server ourselves. We're super happy to provide help. I can also we'll make the code for this available, so you can install this and have a complete version working that you can kind of hack around with and edit.
Awesome. Okay, so if someone could drop that link in the chat, I don't know if you have that URL to your Discord server. Next week, go ahead.
It's just under autocode.com, and then there's a join our Discord at the top.
Awesome. So
from the main page.
Awesome. Do recommend that folks check that out. Really appreciate you coming back again with technical issues, which is, I don't know if there's a curse here that's happening, but that's okay. We're going to have you back and we'll build out something a little more advanced again. Next week, we're going to have FinTable with how to manage your money in Airtable. Going to be a little less technical, a little less code, but I imagine just as fun. So hope to see you all back next week. Appreciate y'all coming. And again, Jacob, we'll do this again sometime, and excited to build some bots in my Discord server. All right.
Thanks so much for having me on too.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day, y'all.